United States to tour the U.S. military installations and pledged to follow up directly with Khamis on that program.
How odd then that Barack Obama should declare himself so shocked at the level of violence in Libya, since his country offered to train those who conducted it.
The suffering and bloodshed is outrageous and it is unacceptable. So are threats and orders to shoot peaceful protesters and further punish the people of Libya.
The British government has said it's equally shocked by all the violence despite years of weapons deals with Libya.
Do I think that we should send a very clear warning to Colonel Gaddafi and to the Libyan armed forces that what they're doing is wrong and against the law? Yes, I think that we should.
Yet a leading British newspaper also found this out. The elite SAS had been training sections of the Libyan army. The question raised is whether this was a trade-off along with oil deals for the release of Abdelbasit al-Megrahi, the so-called Lockerbie bomber. If it's easy to see hypocrisy in the position of Western countries, it's also worth bearing in mind that Gaddafi himself continues to rail against American and British imperialism in his country while happily accepting military support to keep himself in power. The upshot now, according to reports from Tripoli, is that all the soldiers at Gaddafi's disposal are guarding him in the streets around his compound. No wonder there's talk of a civil war. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
Let's get the thoughts of Awad Al-Faitouri. He's from the Libyan Information Center here in Doha, an organization that uses contacts in Libya to find out the latest on what's going on there. First of all, any latest lines from your contacts?
Well, the latest is still fighting going on in Zawiya and in Zawara. This is the latest. Fighting is still going on. This is what I've heard.
Well, what sort of fighting? I mean, how would you characterize it? Can those anti-Gaddafi, pro-democracy protesters and activists actually match the firepower of those who are fighting on his behalf?
Not really. They just defending they're fighting for their lives. The other guys, they are troops, they are mercenaries. They have got all the heavy weapons. Our people and the revolution is that they only have light weapons, just to like a personal weapon and things, small guns, and that's it.
So despite that, why do you think, what do you think is the secret to the anti-Gaddafi protesters taking so many towns and cities, as we're seeing in the East and now the West?
Well, the secret is the will of the people. People up to now have just had every moment, I was defecting Gaddafi now. Really, Gaddafi now he has got only the mercenaries with him and close circle of his tribe. People, I think they are seeing Gaddafi is falling down, and now they're defecting him. This is the secret and the will of the people. Now we are concentrating, or the people of Libya are concentrating on liberating of Tripoli. This is the main goal. We want Gaddafi to get out of Tripoli.
In the past month, we've seen the armies of both Tunisia and particularly Egypt play huge roles in the momentous changes in those countries. Why is the army different in Libya?
The army is different because it's not like a typical armies like in the other countries. It's been running by his revolutionaries committees, even in the army. There is no discipline like the ordinary armies in the other worlds. So even the army are controlled by his revolutionary committee. Despite all that, we have seen the army are defecting him, and they sided with the Libyan people. So it's not working for the moment for him as well.
Do you think that Gaddafi deliberately keeping the army weak, perhaps, to strengthen his role has now backfired on him?
Well, I think he did that in the past, so he protected himself from any coups. But now it's backfiring on him. That's why he's using the mercenaries now. He's using his money, and he's trying to withdraw the people to form the fight as it's between the West and East, and he's playing on the role of regionalism and tribalism. but people are aware of that and they won't be drawn to that.
Can you see a revolution taking place and Gaddafi being deposed without mass bloodshed?
For the moment, it's very difficult to say that. With the mercenaries around, it's very difficult.
I mean, when he gave that speech a couple of evenings ago, usually, historically, we've seen leaders give veiled threats towards their people, saying things along the lines of, you will bear the consequences of your actions. With Gaddafi, it seemed a lot different. Why do you think he was so reckless in making open threats to his people?
It's a mix of things. I think he's panicking. He knows the end is soon. He can see it. So the guy is panicking, and in the same time, he's trying to show that he's still in control, to show his supporters that we are still in control. So it's mixed feeling, and that's reflected in his nervous speech, as I may say.
There was speculation that he might go to Venezuela. There was speculation that he was en route to Caracas, and then of course he appeared on television saying, I'm still here, I'm still standing. Who are his friends? Where is he likely to go if he's pushed into a corner and is forced to flee the country?
It's very difficult now for anybody to accept Gaddafi, to tell the truth. I think his problem now that he has nowhere to go. I'm sure if he's being granted a place to go, he probably went already. The problem is nobody wants to be connected with him anywhere because with
what's the most obvious alternative to Gaddafi in Libya at this moment in time?
I wish he just, if he has got any sense, to come and come clear and raise his hand and that's it.
But the point being that he's had the system for 42 years, Jamahiriya system of governance, very ideological, his Green Book, etc. Has part of his genius been that he's destroyed any semblance of opposition? Who's the opposition? Who are the figures?
The opposition at the moment are the people in Libya, the people of Libya. There is no organization, there is no group, nobody can claim that they are the leaders. It's just the whole people of Libya. This is the opposition.
For how much longer do you think he can use oil as a weapon? Because he's threatening. I mean, he's basically saying there won't be oil flowing to Europe and elsewhere if I go. If you support these protesters, a warning to European countries, to the United States, etc., saying the oil will stop flowing. For how long can he actually use that threat in a credible way?
We hope that the Libyans who runs the oil fields and the oil refineries, they will know the dangers of Gaddafi's threat. Because it's not his oil, it's the country's oil, and it's not his money anyway. So we hope that they will realize the seriousness of his threat.
Awad Al Faitouri, thanks for your thoughts for the moment.
Thank you.
Now, with continuing unrest in